Out here as far as operators should be interesting to see what we're not going to see here on Oregon. Always find this part interesting to see if they bring some random ideas. Capital being banned
makes sense.
Is unusual in the sense that it doesn't happen very often, but as you said, it is something that does make sense in terms of the way he's used very usefully on both bomb sites. So, although I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen an attempted Dorms B push with the Capital Firebolt being part of that. It's just not been a
Usually
thing.
When it happens from the hallway itself.
Yeah.
Not from the windows. Thatcher's going to be banned. I don't know if Mute's going to be removed from this. It would make sense.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, FaZe probably not going to do both. They're probably not going to ban the Thatcher and the Mute. Yeah. So it'll probably be Liquid that will have to ban the Mute if they want to do so.
Mira, possibly. Valkyrie, ooh.
Definitely a pretty common ban now. Probably catching up with Echo in terms of one of the more banned operators.
Makes sense. Valkyrie. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, but you know, these other operators, they have cameras as well. Yeah, but Valkyrie functions in a different way. Again, side grades people.
Yeah, I feel like IQ play is dropping a slight amount this season, and that might also, you know, factor into that is people that don't want to have to bring IQ just go with that. And rather than the Mute, the Bandit.
Bandit? This is the first time Bandit gets banned. Jaeger as well was banned once.
Interesting choices.
Last night, the Jaeger. Oh well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was banned last night.
It
was interesting.
Thinking. All right, well.
Processing.
Trying to process.
Computing.
I'm not that kind of a... I know I'm a bot, but not that kind of a bot.
I didn't say it.
We'll see how this goes here, as I wouldn't be too sold on the Maverick being played in this situation.
Well, there's the Mute coming out. But the Ying play. We used to see a decent amount of Ying bans occasionally on Oregon.
I don't get why the Twitch switches to the Ying and then the Maverick stays in. They're probably going to be attacking Laundry. I mean, yeah, I mean, the hatches in the meeting hall are not always going to be reinforced. Or usually they're even taken
usually
down.
One is and one's not.
Yes, so the Maverick would make sense because then the Thermite, you know, you'd only need one of his charges to do the work, which is basically just in the lobby. But in most cases, if you can...
But Habana's not banned.
Exactly. This is the drama that we have right now, the drama as in the conundrum that we're facing. If you want a flexible hard breacher, when you know you're not going to destroy walls, what's the point of bringing the Thermite? Because Thermite is more, I will destroy a whole wall, open up the thing.
I mean, if it's like, hey, we might want to come from blue, all right. I can get on board with that, but you know they might have a Mute Jammer for that anyways. Like, you're still going to have to deal with that. But you have the Maverick, I guess. If they're going to go for a blue push.
Nah, tower push. This is what makes sense.
Yeah.
They have to clear the tower just in case there's anyone in there. And Lucifer, that's what we were mentioning. That's Palu. It'd be great if people didn't change their names, but cameraman will just enter in the tower and there's nobody to contest them.
I mean, that's good that he's able to get in there quickly. The question is, are they going to turn that into anything? It is weird to have the Ying kind of leading the way unless he's going to use it semi-roam clear. In the sense, you usually want to have a Ying play a bit back because you're going to be using it more so for the execute unless you're using it for roam clear. But in this case, if he thought it was safe to take T3 and he's just going to take it, hold it for now while Astro goes down there and helps with roam clear, this is not the worst strategy to be employing at all. But as I say that, Nesk, nicely done.
Yikes.
That feels bad.
Yeah, that's definitely not something you'd like to...
That's partially why you hold the Ying back.
And you lose the Ying, you lose a lot of potential utility play. Of course, the Ying is only really going to do work later on as the Candelas have been used, and the Ashen Mav, in the meantime, is just looking around, droning around, and still hasn't really found anything. As you see, the Mute Jammers even put upstairs will affect the drones below.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's a cone. It's a cylinder, not a cone. It's a cylinder. And Nesk will go maybe for a second peek in here. Is awaiting any information from his teammates. But of course, you don't have the Valkyrie, so you cannot use that to your advantage. Now, what Nesk usually plays is that Valkyrie, especially on Oregon.
Can't now.
Can't now. Well, the Legion is definitely doing work early on. And Elise is putting up and setting up his goo mines as swiftly as possible.
Still gets intel, just in a different way.
Very true. Side grades.
Side grades, yeah. That's your new
Word of the
theme.
day.
It's like the developers in non-binary. It's just one of those.
It does make sense, you know. Yeah. Impact frags with Kix's thing, and now it's gonna, you know, this is gonna be mine. Paul is gonna find one. Astra will be removed from play. I'm not sure where actually he got him. Was it just like on staircase?
This is an interesting smoke attempt. I mean, I assume he rotated based off what he saw, but
Yuna just walks on in and he finds the kill. Sexy Kid going down. He's so low on health though.
And still worth it.
I don't know if there's enough time to go for a reset in this case. Moringa will come in right behind Maverick. And they'll both try to attack from the tower side. Palu is still alive and really bumping here. So he can drop down the stairs and fight ASAP. Now, Mirror window is set on a soft wall, and it's actually opened up from below. The flash will come in from Mavis, drops in, fires in the back, only hits the shoulder of Ziggs Mira.
That was definitely close to a head, but wow.
Wow! Paul from above, he'll find one, Nesk with another, and Gohan as well, one from the back. Nice by Laundry, Moringa goes down, and Team Liquid find him pretty swift first round.
It was a bit spread out too. They had a lot of people upstairs, but it seemed to work out very well because FaZe, as they started losing people on that attack, first the Ying, then the Dokkaebi, as they started losing people, they lost manpower. Then they just could not focus on the roam clear they wanted to do, so they didn't clear anything. They instead just focused solely on let's get into blue and get this rolling because we're getting low on time. We've got to kill the smoke. The smoke did a great job delaying them. I mean, it's an odd way to play it, but it certainly worked in terms of doing a good job delaying them as long as possible so everyone else could be in good positions. It was just, it was not a great series of plays. It was interesting to see, again, a Thermite with a Claymore instead of flashbangs.
Yeah, that is a bit of an oddity. But one thing I would like to remind everyone is that with the rule set change, I feel that we have to say this for the first couple of weeks of play, is that now to win the game, you need to put 7 rounds up on the board. If you put 6, that's still not enough. You're in map and match point, but you need that 7th one. Of course, before once you hit, once you got those 6 rounds, now you need an extra one. You can still tie at 6-6, but before it was 5-5.
Yeah.
So those 2 rounds increased have actually dramatically reduced the amount of ties that we've gotten. And I will be looking for the number of comparison of ties within the first 3 play days of all the regions between Season 8 and 9.
I know there was a lot of ties, I believe, at the beginning of Latin America Season 8.
That's not just because we were all looking to be down.
That has to be. I'm pretty sure that's what the stats are based on, right? Interesting setup here. Again, a very heavy defense here inside the kitchen to be able to hold from below to make sure no one can stop. Again, we're going to see the Ying brought out, but this time we're going to see a sledge being brought out. But still, again, the Thermite and the Maverick. And again, they have the choice of something else if they want to, although I feel like Latin America generally has run a lot more Thermite than other regions that have focused a bit more on Habana, so it is a little bit more in meta to be doing so. Fortunately, it looks like Moringa might have gotten stuck, or we might have had a delay here.
No.
Yep, looks like
Whoa!
Looks like they might have got disconnected. They probably are in a team house, as many of the Latin American teams are, and may have just all lost internet in their team house at once, which we have seen Ninjas in Pajamas suffer from at least twice.
I'm not sure if there was like a storm or the cat came in and pulled out the plug, but
at least Zig giving out the good game well played. So
yeah,
them to have been cooking up something in tower instead.
They're gonna cook it in kitchen.
That was the joke. Too subtle. Too subtle. Sometimes you gotta.
Subtlety is not my strength.
Sometimes you gotta signal a little, I suppose.
Let's just say you gotta build a runway to tell me that, hey, this is actually happening.
Right.
It's like,
yeah,
come here, taxi on this side.
Interestingly enough, they're gonna fake with the IQ, but actually bring in the Finka now. This is something that FaZe were the first team to really start bringing Finka. We actually started seeing G2 doing it in recent play days.
Here's the big difference. G2 would run it alongside a Blitz.
Well, of course.
Which makes a lot of sense.
It always surprises me when you don't see other teams doing that because, I mean, I guess if you don't have a good Blitz player, but there's so many good Blitz players in Latin America.
Please don't do that. Please don't.
So,
both of them?
They again are going with the Ying and the Dokkaebi, as well as the double hard breachers, and then the Finka, of course, is kind of the extra one. And a Doc on the team this time. Yeah, definitely a good choice.
The Doc makes a lot of sense. You know, obviously have the 2 Evil Eyes, but on top of it, you also bring the extra bulletproof camera. I'm not sure if Paulo is bringing it in this situation, because we can't just say, hey, Marcio, can you switch around to it? But
yeah.
I wonder why they're not reinforcing at least one side of the wall. I know that, you know, leaving half of it soft makes a lot of sense, but, you know, all it.
You really don't want to give them anywhere to plant because no one else is going to plant. I mean, you're not going to plant anywhere else generally. That being said, if you can really cover with smoke from the doorway and they can't be at the edge of kitchen very well, ooh, nice deployable shield position as well to be able to hold against exactly what cameraman's doing.
There's two of them in play, actually. All right, well, ooh, what? Okay.
So there's the Finka boosting herself.
Yeah, and of course, if you're playing Finka, it makes a ton of sense to just use the LMG.
This is one gun where the recoil reduction is not going to mess you up. Unfortunately, Nesk not able to land the shots, but still good to taunt them a little because you can always rotate back because they're not on this side. But
you gotta worry.
Wow, they are fighting that long angle though.
Mav has all that he requires. Of course, he also has an extra drone there to give him info. I believe one. There was an explosion. Don't know if that was the wall being opened up, as the focus right now is on Nesk.
I gotta say though, losing the Maestro early before you can adjust his camera at all to be able to kind of adapt to whatever's going on, definitely problematic. I mean, in general, the Maestro is needing to live a lot longer. Looks like we're gonna see what the Candela is used for as the kill on Dokkaebi goes off.
Oh, nicely done there from Gohan, and that's a pretty good way of landing the Candela inside, but you need to actually push behind it, and this is just a random Candela being thrown in. There was...
I mean, technically, you only need one for the plant, but at the same time, like, you want coverage. You need to make sure you blind everyone.
But there was no move after it.
Yeah. It was definitely a case of just trying to clear dining. They were just trying to push everyone out of dining so they could start to position, but it also... Again, they weren't ready to go for anything. Gohan almost dying due to the grenade, it seemed.
Just chucking the grenade forward, and it's just to blow up that that shield. Moringa, in the meantime, will be able to come in and go for the plant, but the wall is soft next to him, so Gohan, all he's got to do is just move on in and go for the fight, and there you go. He'll land it. Nesk with one more. Pistol in hand as Gohan will try to go for one more, but it's Palu to find the MP5 shot on Mav and finish things off here. Team Liquid with a third round on the board.
I gotta imagine they were hoping to have a smoke for that from the Maverick, but the Maverick, having died earlier, left them without a smoke. And of course, they overplayed their Candelas early, giving them no way to cover themselves for that plant. And as you mentioned, the two deployable shields as well also help protect them from getting blinded. Let's say they tried to roll it down the hallway to try and blind the Rook. Well, that wouldn't have worked, and the Rook is the one who got the kill. So now they are gonna bring what looks like the similar attack, but they definitely are not going to be attacking tower or dining. Back to laundry we go, and no surprise there. So that is Liquid now with a third round on the board. They are
now they can go back to laundry,
yeah,
which is good. Definitely is a change of pace, right?
Yeah, it was interesting to see a dining defense that seemed to work. Some of that was due to some of the plays from FaZe, maybe not just being the most effective ones, but some of it was also losing players that they needed for that play. I mean, they had a nice early kill, though, onto Zig on the Maestro, though. That was a good start for them. They had the advantage, but now it looks like they could be going with double smokes as they're bringing a Jackal and a Maverick, although there's no guarantee that that's the utility they're bringing on those. And then they are going to have the Twitch for some of the utility to potentially clear anything out, or just, you know, for the gun. Astro, being a very, very good Twitch player, he was kind of the premier Twitch player, I would say, for a while.
He did lose, you know, his first drone.
Yeah.
This is grayed out.
His headphones were back.
Yeah.
Old reference directly for Astro.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious.
I believe that was Gamescom.
Yes, that was Gamescom 2017.
Yeah, that was funny. It was just one of those examples where as soon as he turned his headphones on the correct way,
oh,
just
now I can hear everyone.
After that, yeah, that was all it was. Shoe was on the wrong foot.
You kind of noticed that though. The shoe part.
I would hope so.
All right, well, more mute.
FaZe, unfortunately, was most likely another power outage again. It was into the round again, so there's a good chance they could lose the round, but it's up to the admins to decide that. It's certainly not up to us. But it's definitely not looking good for FaZe because, well, they were already behind. So it was 3 rounds, one of those lost due to a power outage, and possibly another one that could put them at a 4-0 deficit already.
Which
so
definitely wouldn't be great.
Yeah, it would definitely not be great. I have a feeling once it switch sides, probably won't see Liquid losing power a lot, but you know, there are definitely sometimes infrastructure challenges in different areas there that they can run into, as well as, like you said, weather that can be problematic also. So
yeah, I haven't checked the weather reports for Sao Paulo this morning, but definitely is a possibility.
It's part of your prep work.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's okay.
I have to let you know.
It's okay. It's okay.
Every now and then.
There's Latin America again tomorrow, and then like a million times after. So it's fine.
No, there's like this is Play-Day number 3, so there's only going to be until 7 before we're done with this first half. Devin, are you paying attention?
It's true, but there's 14 total.
Sure, but there's Invitational in between. So weird.
It'll go by so fast.
Today is the 15th of January, 2019. It's
you were like a verbal advent calendar.
And we'll be an Invitational in under a month.
Yeah, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Yep, as they are going to dorms now because they technically won laundry.
There you go.
So that's good. We are back, so that is also good in itself.
In control.
Yeah. So we'll be faking the Pulse, but then bringing out the Maestro. It's good to see different players can play the Maestro as well, because Zig playing it before, but Gohan playing it now. And I don't say that in the sense of like only one player can play one role, but it always is nice to see the flexibility in the teams. We are going to see the Finka again, this time with a Sledge and Zofia, so they're bringing a little bit different utility. It means they're still going to be getting extra grenades, so they're going to have 4 grenades, plus the 2 that can be shot out of the lifeline. So that's a lot of grenades on board. Then they've got the 2 hard breachers. Again, I have a feeling that the Thermite probably is bringing in a Claymore and the Maverick on smokes, which means they have nothing except for Zofia's concussions, potentially, or the grenade ones, I suppose, if you want to use those, to clear ADSs. And I know we harp on that a bit, but it is important. As you can see, well, Jaeger on board, he is placing his ADS right between the 2 windows, which you cannot generally shoot unless you take control of kitchen, or you have to clear it. And just to be clear to anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, an ADS from placed by Jaeger, also known as the trophy system, is going to be something he sticks on the wall or the floor that can catch up to 2 throwables. So having 3 flashbangs on an operator means if there is 1 ADS in the room and you throw all 3 flashbangs, the 3rd one going clear, sailing clear into the room lets you know that the ADS is now down because it has burned the 2 charges it can burn, and lets you know you are now clear to throw more valuable resources like grenades into the room.
Now, one thing I do want to clear out, I did say that FaZe are all in Sao Paulo. I will also add the fact that there is a massive thunderstorm going on as we speak in Sao Paulo and in the state of Sao Paulo, which has like 26 million people. But still, that might be a an explanation to why we've been having those. So it's not PCs or anything like that. It does make a ton of sense. Just so you guys are kept up on everything, I did check the weather.
There you go. You finally did it. Mid-game instead of during the break, too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just more content.
Absolutely.
So, Team Liquid with Palu, who's playing as Plucifer here.
Already taking a little bit of damage, too.
Yes. And I'm not sure if that was team damage or not. Maybe just running through is just a tiny bit of damage. Yuna will use his 2nd Adrenal Surge, as we saw the first one being used early on to clear out the tower and anything in or around it. And he's just going to fire in to destroy the windows. Cameraman set up on the outside grenade will get used.
Okay, so looks like they did clear the ADS then. And good use of the Thermite again, getting a kill. This time on a Nesk, and there's the Jaeger himself down, so he cannot replace that ADS.
And I'm not sure if that was Nesk trying to play from below in the tower and fight against Moringa, but hey, the Thermite winning the fight is definitely something that you're looking for. That's, as they say, hey.
So no, they had the Maverick bringing the flashes to clear the ADS. That is, I mean, there's only a couple operators with smokes. That seems, again, like an odd choice, but this is a region that might not be as feeling as dependent on smokes to go for a plant here.
And obviously, when you bring the Maverick, he's gonna be running the flashes, right? There's no smokes anymore.
That's true. What was I thinking? Yeah,
that was only back.
I was thinking in the early days. Yeah, it was me wishing he had smokes. Yeah.
No, thank God he doesn't actually.
Yeah, no, I mean as a player, not as a
cameraman. Spectator. Just walks in. He'll get kill, take down Paulo, and Gohan fishes off cameraman with a camera. Ironically enough, 3v3 as Sexy Cake is taking a ton of damage. Yuna will get the finisher on Zik to take him out. No Adrenal Surges left for the Finka player here. FaZe Clan try to fight in the hallway. Diffuser's been set, and now 3v2 actually turns into 2v1. Moringa will get one spray in the back for Gohan, and just so many bunks just hitting them, and the LMGs will just trade fire until one is victorious. In this case, that'll be Yuna. Put FaZe Clan on the board 4-1.
Gotta love the LMG versus LMG finale there. That's the way to do it. But finally one for FaZe. Despite all the problems, I mean, 2 of those from disconnects, 2 of those from actual losses. Now, finally, bringing it back a little big on the attack before they get to go on the defense, in which, assuming no further disconnects, they might be able to bring it back. Definitely the case. But Zig, I got to imagine probably just teasing the Clash, not actually going to bring it. Most likely 6-pick. There we go. Astra also going to do a 6-pick as well, but Zig going to be switching off to the Mira. And they're going to try Dorms one more time. As, well, that makes sense because, well, you can't go back to Laundry and you probably don't want to go back to Dining so much.
Yeah, very true. Even though they did win it.
Yeah, but it's, you kind of showed what you were doing on it.
Yeah, you showed your hand in that case. And
although, to be fair, had they won Dorms, they would have had to probably go back to that or Tower. So they wouldn't have much choice then. And that was what I was talking about in the system where
so
now...
you're saying that they lost it on purpose?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the only possible explanation. So we'll see if this time somehow Maverick magically has smokes. those brain farts sometimes.
I can't wait until a certain video that you and I made in Rio comes out. There's a lot of you forgetting
10
things.
seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, not looking forward to that.
Everybody's been seeing the stuff that, you know, like Rogue and, you know, even with Zeronic and Wilkie. Well, we...
To be fair, that was right after I beat my brain was mush.
Yeah, I mean, for people that don't know, Devin is diabetic, so
yeah,
there's something to keep in mind.
You had a slight advantage there.
Yeah, but I think the points were very much in my favor.
Well, you're the lore fanatic.
For Warhammer, yes. Not for, anyways, you guys will get to see that later on. Hopefully, if the video.
There's quite a few of them, so it'll be trickled out.
Maybe one day it'll be released.
Oh, you see the window being open. There, he's going to boost himself just to give himself extra recoil advantage on that fight because, well, at long distance, you don't want the extra recoil, so smart, but fortunately, it's just going to get burned. Thankfully, he has 3.
Yep, and of course, the adrenaline surges in the past used to last much longer than they do now. Now they're only 10 seconds, so...
It's for the best.
The big trade was, hey, at least you get frag grenades, and on top of that, you're not as hurt by smoke, so it takes an extra tick of a smoke canister to kill you.
I feel like it has, in some ways, increased Figga's pick rate, but very, very slowly.
Yeah, it's before it wasn't. The whole pick around her was the adrenaline surge. Now it's more like a situational thing. It's not something you're going to use actively, you know, for big pushes, etc. But you can still chain them very efficiently.
Yeah. Either way, you'll often see 1 or 2 early in the round, and then save ones for him. But it's not just about push; it's also about being able to pick up a teammate occasionally.
True.
Just very rare.
It does happen, and I have to commend the... Oh, boy. Yep.
Well, I think that might be the end for FaZe. We'll find out soon, hopefully. But despite their 1 round win they managed to get, that is definitely going to be not good for them, as it's very likely, even if that doesn't count in a loss, it most likely will count in a loss of a round. Which
it should...
Yeah.
It would be potentially the 3rd rehost, which should count as a loss, because...
Yeah.
You
I'm just saying either way, it's not good for FaZe. Either,
obviously, don't listen to us just yet. We're waiting until our admin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So depending, because again, these are outstanding. This is an outstanding situation. Yeah. In a way where I will reiterate and say it again. Sao Paulo is currently experiencing thunderstorms, and that's the area in which the squad of FaZe Clan actually resides in, and so it causes power problems. It's understandable, but again, the call comes down to the admins, as they are currently trying to find a correct answer to everything.
Yeah.
And then we will let you know. But again, for people that don't know, it's currently summertime in the southern part of the world. Mm-hmm. So because of that, you know, it is rainy season. It's subtropical. Yep. So you know, we could talk about geography and all that. It's just all-encompassing class. Today I learned.
There you go. Well, we are hearing now that it does sound like it is a 7-0 for Liquid. I guess they're not even counting the way that the rounds went down in terms of that. Also, it's just, but that does matter for round differentials. Yes. It comes down to that later on, especially with these 2 teams being potentially close. That could, in theory, make a difference on who goes to LAN final.
Because FaZe don't end up getting any point out of this.
And I mean that only because these 2 teams are going to be top contenders very likely
Very true.
for LAN later on.
And that's the thing, like for people that are watching right now that are big fans of FaZe Clan and that are visibly upset or potentially upset by this,
Yeah,
these are outstanding situations.
Keep in mind the admins are in Latin America. So
yes.
they are aware of the situation in terms of weather as well.
But again, rules have to be applied, and I know there's people that are going to talk about like NA for the past couple days, but
yeah,
just leave it there. Different admin teams.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, luckily we have a quick break, and then we should be ready for the next match. So despite this one being short, we have 2 more to go.
Yes. So we'll be back for those 2. Then we'll see NIP versus Immortals, if I'm not mistaken. It's coming up very soon. Hopefully we won't have any problems then. Again, we thank you for going through with us with all these technical issues. I know for us as casters, for the players, and even for you watching at home, it definitely kills the momentum and the excitement for the matches, especially things we've been waiting for quite a bit. But again, I do thank you for being with us on this wonderful journey. But we'll be back in just a few minutes, hopefully, with our next game, Immortals versus NIP.